Okay, this is the old subreddit, the Donalds, r/the Donald. They were banned and they went to patriots.win. And this website is actually, you cannot talk about this website in Facebook chat. They ban links to this website in Facebook chat and everywhere on Facebook, to my knowledge. It's an extremist cell. It's about as extreme as it gets. They talk about killing people and, they create plans to the whole 9 yards. It's insane. I just want to scroll through here. What do we got? Should have kept your guns. Now now in the UK, it's becoming law that Muslims and minorities are being given lesser prison sentences than white British people. You can't make this up. Well, actually, you can make it up as it happens. That's what they're doing. Here it is in Parliament today. Hold on, let's find out. I'm not even seeing like a news article about this, like not even from Newsmax or OAN or Fox or anything. These people also have a tendency to fabricate video footage, like with deepfakes and things, so I don't trust a single word that anybody ever says here.
When will the court backlog begin to fall? By what date does her department forecast it falling? Turning to the new sentencing guidelines that's been published alongside this statement, which will make a custodial sentence less likely for, and I quote, ethnic minorities, cultural minorities, and faith minority communities. Why is the Justice Secretary enshrining this double standard?
By the way, YouTube algorithm has completely disfavored me. I'd really appreciate it if you watch my videos to the end. It gives my videos a massive algorithmic boost. Also, check out my books, owenmorgan.com. I have no idea what they're talking about. A Justice Secretary enshrining something? I don't know how this system works. I have no clue what they're talking about. It says becoming law. It's becoming law? Is this even how the legal system works there? I don't think so.
Standard. This two-tier approach to sentencing. This is an inversion of the rule of law.
Like, the thing is, I would have a problem with it, obviously, if this was happening. If Muslims were receiving lower sentences than white people or any other group for crimes that they commit, I'd have a problem with that. I guarantee that's not what's happening. And if it is what's happening, it's not the rule, it's an exception to the rule. But it's not. I think it's meant to make sure those groups don't get harsher sentences. That would make more sense. Like with DEI, like Republicans claiming that DEI is making it so that black people take the jobs of white people more often. When in reality, DEI is designed to make sure that white people aren't taking the jobs of black people more often. Like, why do we have, for example, like 2% black people that work for Procter & Gamble in a town that's made up of 25% black people? It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so this sounds like a complete lie to me. I have no idea what they're talking about. That's not what was presented just now, but let's see what they say. Unreal. But we already know this is being handled that way in the UK and elsewhere. They just want to make it official. Holy shit, dude. These people. They want the native British to lash out with violence so they can usher in their technocratic police state. Only way to deal with this is to vote all of them out and watch the voting process like hawks. Jesus Christ. If you can't function in the real world, you belong in a psych ward, not in a government job. I'm in the process of filing for intermittent FMLA for my panic attacks. Who knows how long we have until they reverse those protections. But as my ADHD and OCD get worse, so have my panic attacks whenever a new email threatening me and my fellow public servants drops. I have dreams of someone walking into my work building and doing heinous things. I live every day in fear of what new tactic they'll use. Yeah, Donald Trump is, quote-unquote, traumatizing federal workers. That's not my word. That's the word used by the guy that's doing it, Russell Vought. In Project 2025, he describes that. Is it any surprise that they're living with panic attacks? Really? Imagine being as big a weakling, I'm trying to keep it monetizer friendly, as a modern day leftist. You think he's a leftist? Dude is living in fear. He's going to be fired every day. I know that you probably don't have a real job, and that's why you don't understand what it's like to lose your job. But people are generally concerned about that when that happens. Hold on. FMLA isn't disability. But getting intermittent FMLA for intermittent panic attacks, good luck with that. This FMLA is for when you need time to care for a dying child or spouse. No, it's for mental conditions you're dealing with. My mom used to use FMLA. Top 1% commenter? No doubt during quote unquote work hours. Who's the top 1% commenter? Oh, right. So he's complaining, this guy is complaining about the fact that this person on Reddit is a top 1% commenter, completely ignoring the fact that he's probably a 1% commenter on this website. Want to know what really sucks? I'm living with a true panic disorder since the late 80s. I lived life. See, that guy's panic disorder isn't real. This guy's is. This one is a real panic disorder. Right. I've lived life being completely debilitated inside and running the professional face on the outside. I hold a very technical career in healthcare, have a family, and I'm very involved in my church parish. I learned to live with the disorder alongside heredity Crohn's, which is a literal shit show as well. I learned how to adapt to this world as I am. I had no choice. Yeah, and this guy has no choice either. He's adapting to the world. He's literally describing trying to adapt to the world. All of a sudden, every millennial weirdo that shit in a cat box has the same diagnosis. This never happened. This cat box thing, this didn't happen. It's made up. No concern for fellow humans. Disgusting. Absolutely. Let's see. What do we got here? Luckily, I live in a state where I have access to cannabis and hash oil, which have been a complete blessing and likely saved my life, because good luck getting anything other than horrific SSRIs, mood-stabilizing drugs with terrible lifelong... Oh, my God, dude. So you're using a drug that is not prescribed for this kind of thing. It's not approved for these panic disorders. Does weed work for panic and stuff? I think so, probably. Kind of depends on the person, I suppose. This guy is going off-label, paying absolutely no attention to what the medical community has to say, and complaining that other people can't manage to do the exact same thing. Good job. Zero vetting in the hiring process. One simply doesn't employ panic-stricken weirdos and expect a lick of work out of them. So they're saying we need to remove the social safety net. Get rid of Social Security, get rid of Medicaid, get all those lazy people on their couches off the couches and to work. And now they're saying, it practically in the same breath, fire them, get rid of them. So what's society supposed to do with these people? They can't work and they can't not work. What are they supposed to do? Go to jail? Is that what you want? I don't know what you're looking for here. They want to make their lives miserable. What's society supposed to do with homeless people? You're removing a social safety net. This is a problem that exists and needs to be dealt with. Homeless people. We've got to create a scenario where they can get back on their feet and live their lives once again. What do? These people, by and large, believe they should just go to jail. You can't work, you go to jail. Here you go. They have panic attacks because they're not expected to go to work. Sounds like grounds for termination. Are you shitting me right now? The complete, delusion that lives in their heads. Like, they live in an alternate reality. Let's see what else we got. Bernie, nobody who's 150 years old or 200 years old or 300 is receiving Social Security checks. And this person says, no shit. I.e., yeah, of course, but that money is still going out. No, it isn't. It isn't going out. That money is not being paid out to anybody. He knows he's lying. He's benefiting from the corruption. Bernie Sanders, I'll take any evidence at all. Literally any. Give me anything. They have nothing to prove what they believe here. Nothing. Who is cashing the checks and depositing them into your bank accounts, commie? They're not being cashed. They're not being deposited. You don't cash a check and deposit. You just deposit a check, right? This isn't happening. There's zero proof it's happening. None. A lot of the fraud isn't even the direct Social Security checks being sent out, although there's plenty of that also. No, there isn't. It's the fact that the Social Security numbers are not flagged as deceased, so the numbers can still be used for Medicare fraud, employment tax fraud, welfare fraud. No, they can't. There's been zero fraud. Zero. Elon Musk and Trump claim that there's fraud. Charge somebody. There aren't any accusations even. Who has committed fraud and what have they committed? If the Epstein files stay hidden, then the deep state is alive and well. Who do you think is hiding the Epstein files right now exactly? Who is in charge? Who has access to the Epstein files? You know the Epstein files were already released, pretty much. And Trump's name is all over them. They're heavily redacted, but Trump's name is right there, plain as day. Why do you keep complaining about Epstein files when they're pretty much already out? What are in the Epstein files? Just a list of people that hung out with him, basically. I understand his flight logs, pretty much. Which doesn't mean anything necessarily. I believe that Epstein had valid reasons to speak to all kinds of rich people. RFK Jr. knew Epstein and flew on his jet, I think, a couple of times. I have no reason to believe that RFK Jr., did anything illicit on Epstein's jet. Like I said, plenty of valid reasons to hang out with him, or to meet him, But if you're hanging out with him, if you're friends with him, as Epstein said that Donald Trump was for 10 years, that's going to raise some red flags for me. If you're close to him, if you hang out with him more than like once on his jet, you know what's going on, and you're taking part, nearly guaranteed.